People are rightfully alarmed. They have a reason to be alarmed. And if you would vote for that, people may not feel so confident that they're safe with you. This is not crazy. This is legitimate feelings of fear of you and a feeling that you might not be someone they could trust. If this thing goes way south, autocracies go south real fast and things get ugly and people get asked to do things and turn people in and point people out and turn on them. And if you're voting affirmatively, gleefully for this, and people might, I don't know, may not feel so confident in you anymore. That's real, and you kind of have to live with it. So if you think that you can vote for what people see as their destruction and then demand that they still are cool with you and kiki with you and have Thanksgiving with you, like, I think you're kind of missing the point of what people are upset about. They're afraid. And autocracy and fascism are things that are legitimate to be afraid of. So you may want to step back.
What's up, y'all? Gerald here, creator of Gospel Chops and your host for this YouTube channel, back with another video. Now, y'all, we are just a few days before Christmas, and I wonder, as I take in the news of the hour, the news of the day, how many of y'all would feel some kind of way if you went into work tomorrow on Monday and your boss tapped you on the shoulder and said, hey, I need you to consider willfully, voluntarily taking a pay cut. Not just a little pay cut, but a haircut, if you will. Because the business has been hurting lately and, we're kind of struggling to make ends meet as a company. How would you feel about it? Would you feel like Joy Reid? She seems a little bit upset. She's in a mood, if you will, but I think she has a right to be because she's dedicated not only her years of service, but her reputation to the narratives of MSNBC. Now, I'm just one of those that believes that Joy Reid is a believer of everything that she espouses. I don't think that the network is pushing her to say anything that she doesn't want to say. I believe that her ideas and ideals are in alignment with the network, which makes it the perfect job for her. Until someone comes and taps you on the shoulder and says, we pay you too much for what you do here. Your value is not commensurate with your salary, and we need to cut it. Well, y'all came across this article that says MSNBC reportedly tells 2 more anchors to take pay cuts amid ratings tank. The left-leaning cable channel has been listing badly in the ratings since the election. Well, those of us who follow things like the election, well, we saw this coming, didn't we? We saw what America had become over the years, over this last administration, and we saw that corrective action needed to be taken. But we were not naive, y'all. We understood that corrective action is sometimes painful, especially to those who find themselves on the wrong side of history, like the entire network of MSNBC, like CNN. Well, here we go. This is the step before pink slips get handed out. The article reads, MSNBC is negotiating pay cuts with night anchors Joy Reid and Stephanie Ruhle as the cable channel nosedives in the ratings. After the election, according to a report, Rachel Maddow, arguably the star of the network, previously agreed to pare down her $30 million salary, it was reported. And I did read that article a week or so ago, stating that Rachel Maddow did agree to that haircut. Not that she needs a haircut, but she agreed to reduce her salary by about 20%. It's reported that she made $30 million a year for a 1-day-a-week show. That's good coin. But you got people like a Joy Reid and a Stephanie Ruhle that are not quite as popular as Rachel Maddow. So it's going to hurt a little more. I read one report that said Joy Reid makes about $3 million a year. If they come to her and ask her to reduce her salary by 20%, oh, that's going to hurt. But there are options, y'all. Elon Musk says all the time on his X platform that we are all the media now. And I agree with that. Even small channels like mine, we are the media now. And if someone like a Joy Reid with her massive independent audience, her massive followers on social networks, If she can make $3 million, which I think is a little undercutting at MSNBC, well, girl, you can make $3 million a year on this platform. A lot of independent content creators do. So you might want to give it a look-see, see how you feel about it. Even a small channel could compensate you in the way that MSNBC is. However, we understand that your voice may not reach as far, your message may not reach as far, but sis, there are going to be casualties in this country's correction. If y'all have ever lived with strict parents, you know that sometimes corrective action is painful. And those of us who are on the conservative side of things, we expected this. There's going to be a market correction. There's going to be an economic correction. You got all of this inflation that has to be turned around. Sometimes it's not going to be easy. I read one report that says only 6% of federal government workers report to work 5 days a week. These people are working from home, and Joe Biden just signed an executive order allowing them to remain at home. Well, we know that's going to be unwound in the next administration. However, there are some things that need to be changed in order for this country to get on the right track. There are some things that need to be changed in the media in order for the media to get on the right track. We know what we've experienced in the media, lies over the last 4 years or so. And some of us have gotten to the point where we only rely on independent media sources. Well, what is that? We know that these networks that once used to be known as news are no longer. Okay, it's all opinion. Let's put it that way. Many of them are pushing an agenda, but even that agenda is opinion. Even y'all who watch me on this channel, it's opinion, and I hope that y'all get opinions from everywhere. That's why I listen to Joy Reid from time to time, even though I think she's crazy. I want to know what she's saying. I want to know what other people are thinking. I want to know what opposing opinions are saying. And you get a little bit of opinion here. You get a little bit of opinion there. And then you form your own opinion based on those nuggets of information. You process it through your lens and your lived experience, and you come up with your own opinion. Based on that, you are able to formulate your vote. And you don't only vote at the ballot box, you vote with where you choose to live. You vote with where you choose to work. You vote with how you spend your money. Money is going to be very important moving forward, especially for people like Joy Reid who are getting their salaries cut, especially for some of these federal departments that might no longer exist a few months from now. Things might get hard for a lot of people, but corrective action must be taken. Why? Because the pendulum is swinging, y'all, and it's swung in the past so far to the left. It's time for it to come back around. The old saying says, what goes around really goes around. Yeah, it's going back around. And we're happy about it. We're pleased about it, but it's going to be painful for people like Joy Reid and Stephanie Ruhle.
They are taking Musk's comments seriously, whether he's trolling or not. There is a serious undercurrent to this, and it is the following. In some countries where we've seen democratic backsliding, where some oppositional media outlets have been captured by the government, a process known as media capture, this is exactly what happens. An ally of the leader, like Musk, comes in and buys a media outlet that is viewed as oppositional, and then he turns the content and makes it more friendly to the person in power. That has happened before in other countries. That's part of the concern when, even if Elon Musk is just joking, that's part of the concern here when it comes to MSNBC. But at the moment, this spinoff that Comcast is doing will take at least a year to complete. There's no immediate sale or any of that, I'm told, that is planned.
CNN contributor Carrie Champion joins us in our fifth seat. So, Carrie, I want to ask you about this idea of media takeover, because after Elon Musk purchased Twitter, changed it into X, there's no doubt that he exercised some power there. So how do you hear this even ingest kind of purchase of a cable network?
Good to be with you tonight.
Good to be with you as well.
Thanks for having me. I think that we should believe everything that is said coming from this administration. I don't think that we have the luxury to dismiss it as him being someone who's being funny or someone who is just being himself, or that is his brand. X, and you said in some ways, always. I feel like X. I don't know if anyone is on it in any capacity. I don't know if you're on it. And you're the only one? You're on it? You all are on it? Okay. I've actually decided to take a rest of peace because it is not a peaceful place for me. And I know if in fact you don't agree with this current administration, most people can say that it's not a peaceful place. I wouldn't be surprised if there was an actual bid made to take on MSNBC, but the fact that it just can't happen in real life.
And we
It
just
can't.
can't.
It's just not even
Officially for sale.
Yeah, it's not officially for sale.
The last
It's not
time
even
he
realistic.
mused about maybe buying something,
It's
he
not
ended
even
up doing
realistic in real life, but I do believe that media, everyone sitting here at this table, if you don't agree, we're in for some tough years ahead. I do
Yeah.
believe that we are not going to be able to be as safe or say what we want to. I don't think free speech is going to be as free.
Now, platforms are not regulated right now, which gives them carte blanche to whatever they want right now. Elon is not someone who likes to be regulated. And
Correct.
so to buy MSN, he would go under some federal regulations.
Who's regulating CNN right now?
The FCC?
We're not a broadcast. It's cable.
I mean, I don't really think cable stations are under the same regulatory
It
structure
doesn't go over public airwaves.
that broadcast is.
It's definitely regulated more than than Facebook and
There's
Twitter.
still, what she's saying is that there's still a litmus test of journalism that you have to pass. You can't
That you
come on
don't have
TV
on
and just make up things and say things. That happens on X. Please don't give me the eyebrow furrow as if you don't know what I'm talking about. It happens often on X. I can go and say the color is blue and I will be met with so many disrespectful remarks. No one's regulating the N-word. No one's regulating the criticism. No one is regulating how people are
lies.
treated.
How much
or
government
the
regulation
lies.
of the First Amendment are you for?
Let me tell you something. If I came on here and I just started calling you all kind of names, do you think the bosses would let me continue to do that?
I mean, it happens
I
to me
mean,
occasionally. I don't know if you
Well,
watch
it
the
doesn't
show.
happen to you, but it doesn't
It
happen
does
for me.
happen.
And I know that I wouldn't be able to do that. There's a level of professionalism in what we do here because we are journalists and we adhere to something at least morally. And there is no moral compass on this thing called
You're
X.
also having a
And there you have it, y'all. Evidence on CNN that we are living in a clown world where folks get on there and espouse that the lies that they've been telling for the last 4 years at a minimum. Let's say the last 8 years because they dragged Donald Trump every day during his own administration, y'all. These people are so used to lying that they think their lies are truth. And when the truth is unfettered, when you actually have an experience of freedom of speech, they think that they are somehow restricted because their lies are made to compete against truths. Not just a single truth by a single network, but millions of truths by independent accounts. Millions of opinions that assess information that comes not only from these spokesmouths on CNN and MSNBC, but from all different sources. People make up their own opinions and they espouse them in the public square, which is now X. I read somewhere that said that X is the #1 news source in the world, which explains why sources like MSNBC and CNN are falling in the rankings because people can get in the public square of X, compare their opinions with the opinions of others and say, well, this MSNBC reporter or news anchor is so out of touch with what I'm seeing on millions of accounts. This thing that CNN is espousing is so different, so wacky in comparison to these millions of people over here that see things differently. There is no longer a monopoly on the news, y'all, and it's a beautiful thing. And you see people saying, well, I'm just going to remove myself from the public square. Really? You're going to remove yourself from the most free speech platform that exists today in this political climate? What are you doing? What are you recoiling from? What are you running from? Matter of fact, even a better question, what are you running to? Where are you going to go if you run from a clearly free speech platform? What's the end game, y'all? I don't think they have one. I don't think they've thought it through. Why? Because they didn't expect Donald Trump to win. Because they lied throughout the election process saying that he wasn't going to win, saying it was a razor-thin race, saying the margin was so close. Well, now that things didn't work out the way of the mainstream media, they're stuck. I agree with Elon. We are the media now, whether you're a small channel like mine or a huge channel like a Candace Owens or an Officer Tatum or a Tim Pool or a Daily Wire. There's so many networks out there, so many independent voices out there that you can learn from, that you can glean from, that you can make a comparison to. And I think it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. These people are recoiling because they see that independent voices are now rivaling voices of their networks, such that their networks are saying, hey, we can't afford to pay you. The jig is up. Rachel Maddow, will you take a pay cut? Joy Reid, will you take a pay cut? We'll see how they react to these circumstances, because this just may be the first round of cuts. There's going to be carnage, y'all. It's going to be some pain. Economically, socially, it's going to be some pain in this country, but corrective action is needed, especially in our news sources. Y'all let me know what you think about this and these folks taking pay cuts just to keep their jobs, just to keep their microphones turned on, just to have access to promote their lies to you on these networks. I want to know what you think about this. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video so we can get more people involved in the conversation, y'all. And like I always say, always remember and never forget, without the gospel, it's just chops. Until next time, peace.